Hello and welcome to True Crime Diary, a light-hearted podcast on a serious subject. Every 2 weeks we look back through true crime stories to discuss an event that took place on this week in history. I'm your host Mark Decana, and with me as always are my friends Jed Lester.
Hello.
And Rue Turner.
Hello.
So the date we're looking at this episode is the 30th of September, and in 2016, 2 paintings stolen from the Van Gogh Museum were recovered, having been stolen more than 14 years earlier.
The what museum?
The Van Gogh Museum.
Van Gogh.
Bless you.
What is it, officially? I'm going to tell you what I would say.
You're the Amsterdam correspondent.
The Van Gogh.
True.
Van Gogh Museum, that's how I'm going to say it.
I was talking to one of the conservators in the museum just last week.
What a name.
Here we go.
And he's obviously a native Dutch Amsterdam guy.
Yes, I have a Dutch accent. Isn't that weird?
And it is Van Gogh.
Van
Gogh.
So no, it's more like
Fun.
the English word fun.
Fun?
So Van Gogh. Although the G in Dutch is much more like the CH in Scottish.
The G.
So it's like Van Gogh.
You mean the
Fun.
beginning G?
Yeah, both of them really. But the last one is a bit softer, so it's Van Gogh.
So like the CH in lock,
Yeah.
the Scots lock.
Yeah.
Has to be at the front as well.
Von Gogh. So fon meaning...
Yeah,
so it should be
take
pronounced...
Take a run up at it.
From Lake. It should be... from Lake is his name.
Yeah, that's it.
Von Gogh.
Van Gogh.
So they give up in the middle of saying it. Von Gogh.
Yeah. We've had enough of it.
Oh.
Mid.
His name is Von Gogh.
But the Dutch are
no one
pretty-
ever says that. They say
Yeah, no, all the Dutch say that.
All the Dutch say that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of putting stupid names, didn't you? I can't remember if this is still official. When you changed your name, do you know anything about this?
I don't think so.
Rue changed his name by deed poll.
That's true. Me and he have a name in common.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's nearly.
Yeah.
Wasn't yours Von?
It's Von. Yeah.
That meaning Van. No, what is he? Von Gogh? No, he's Van Gogh.
He's Van.
Oh,
yeah.
What are you talking about?
My
Exactly.
middle name's Van. Or
Why?
Von.
Because you own a van.
He added it in. It's me adding a muck in or something like that.
Yeah.
So he added a Von in.
But muck means son of, and von means from.
From. Yeah.
I don't
it's
care
from
what
a
they
place.
mean. It's just adding a word.
You would be Von Lester as opposed to son of Lester.
It's just adding a word in for no reason
Lesterson.
whatsoever.
Lesterson. Yeah.
Is that still legit?
Yeah.
There you go.
What, you haven't had it annulled?
No.
Your name change.
The
So you're Rue
Von Turner.
and
It sounds like a bloody Disney villain.
the reason why I know that is that you didn't tell me that, but your brother said, "Oh, there's some post arrived the other day. It was addressed to Rue Von Turner," and we put it in the bin or whatever because we thought, well, that's clearly wrong because obviously he hadn't told anyone. Anyway, so what we're calling it? Von Gogh.
Yeah.
Von Gogh.
There you go.
No, I'm going to make the Van Gogh joke.
No.
No.
A rubbish Van Gogh joke.
Yeah.
Anyway, get on with it. I don't remember anything happening in 2016. I'm sure this is years and years ago.
Yeah, well, 2016 is when the paintings were recovered.
Ah, right.
They were stolen in 2002, December 7th, a day that will live in infamy. That was a joke that nobody will get. Okay.
Oh, that's very funny. If you tell me where the act's playing, I'll try and miss it.
So 2 paintings were stolen. They were...
You're going to
Oh,
need to
yeah,
take a
which
run up
one?
at this
I'm
word
going to take
as
a
well.
run at the names. I'm going to do the names in English, if that's all right.
Yep.
View of the Sea at Scheveningen. That's close enough. Painted 1882. And
Scheveningen.
Congregation Leaving the Reformed Church in Nuenen. 1884/5.
They're both quite interesting paintings.
Can we have a look at them and describe them to them?
Well, one is a view of the sea. The other one is some people leaving a church.
It's like
That's the sea.
Oh, yeah.
a bandstand with a roof and some people outside it and trees behind.
Yeah.
Well, that's beautiful. Look at that. That's a damn picture there.
It's quite small. Well, they're both quite small.
They are small. In fact, the thief said that he stole
Was he
them
small?
because they were the smallest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not the worst How small? Inside your blazer pocket? Small?
A3-ish.
Under the coat.
Oh, A3, right, yeah, okay.
So 2002, 2 men got onto the roof of the Van Gogh Museum, broke a window with a sledgehammer, of all things,
Yeah.
went in through the hole and just lifted them off the wall
At night.
at night. It took 3 minutes and 40 seconds in and out.
Did they time it?
Yes.
Why would you time it? I beat my record.
According to testimony of one of the burglars, he said when they were done, the police were there in a few minutes. The police were there.
That's a pretty good response.
So
from
the
police.
sledgehammer
Amazing.
Yeah.
Police. It would be like an hour here.
set off an alarm. The broken glass.
Presumably set off an alarm because the police were
Yeah.
there.
Unless
quick,
someone went huh? Down below. Someone
There's,
went.
What's
there's
that?
no there's no
breaking
sensors
glass.
or anything on the roof around there. I
Yep.
mean, there is now.
Yeah, of course.
But it's not until they break that window, and I think not even sure if the window was alarmed. It would have happened as soon as they stepped into the room.
It was
Okay.
Yeah, PIR
Yeah.
thing.
Yep.
So whether I don't know whether the 3 minutes includes them getting up onto the roof, or whether it's 3 minutes from the time they set the alarm off to the time that they were out.
Well, I would assume it took more than 3 minutes to get on the roof.
Yeah. Well, as I say, I was only there last week.
Oh, yeah.
And this,
What did you steal?
The entrance where they got the way they got in is on it's a quiet part of the street side.
Yep.
The-
Did you
the-
go and look at where they
Yeah,
tried
yeah.
to get in?
The main part of the museum that you see is on the museum plain, which is like this huge field,
Yep.
Yes.
flat area where they have
Field.
festivals and stuff, and then the museum is to one side of it, and then there's this quietish street at the back of it,
Yeah.
and that entrance is just there. There's a little couple of steps that go up, and then to the right you have like a planting bed area, and what they did is they just put a ladder in the planting bed, and then that led up straight onto the first level roof. And from there, you're invisible.
Of course,
So you
yeah,
can do
yeah.
what you like. You can take as long as you like once you
Yeah,
get up
yeah,
onto
yeah.
that, because there's no alarms.
And it
up
was
there.
dark.
And it's dark,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So you just run up your ladder.
Of
onto
course.
if you pulled the ladder up after you, no one would know you.
could have taken
yeah,
ages.
You could have taken ages.
We appear to have plenty of time.
Right.
So they smashed that window, and when they came out, they didn't come back down the ladder. They came down a rope that they hung over the front door. They door down the front face and came out the main entrance.
Shouldn't they have
I don't know.
gone back
yeah.
down the ladder?
I would have.
Yeah.
Like you would.
Yeah. They look like fireman slides down
Well,
the
you-
side of the ladder.
Wouldn't you go out the way you came in because you know it works?
Well, exactly.
you know
Yeah,
it's
a bit
there.
public. Well, no, I suppose it wasn't public because it was night, but it was more public than round the
Yeah,
back.
because they were a bit rushed and not very good at getting out.
Yep.
He dropped his bag getting down the rope, and it hit
Yeah.
the deck and smashed the frame,
Oh God. No.
and actually caused quite a bit of damage to the painting.
Wow. Wow.
Well, yeah. It's
Well, it's
banged in a corner and it chips
It was
some
2
paint.
centimetres wide and 7 centimetres long.
Yeah.
Piece of paint missing from the side.
Yeah,
Right.
some paint flaked off. Some paper. Considering we talked about art before, where they sawed a third of the painting off, and that's the people who owned the painting. So it's like the thief chipped off 7 centimetres of paint off one side. That's not that significant in the grand scheme.
So, do you think they wanted a small Dutch master or impressionist painting, or were they going for the kind of the big boy?
I don't think, no. Thieves don't tend to know anything about art.
Yeah.
So they just go in, they take a thing, which is a bargaining chip, which has got some value.
okay.
They have no
would have
understanding
heard.
of the painting and no real
They would have heard of it.
knowledge of its value.
So
Yeah,
therefore,
exactly. I mean, it's in the Van Gogh Museum, so you know that that's what you're getting.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's art, but I like it.
police, in our history of talking about police things,
Yeah.
that I would say that's the quickest.
That's the best response so
Yeah.
far, yeah. I should tell you that a lot of the information we know about what actually happened comes from the guy who did it.
Yeah, okay.
Oki.
Oki took
Why are you saying Oki?
His name is
Yeah, it's his name.
Octave.
A nickname?
Yeah, no, yeah.
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 It's short for Octave.
Okay. Octave?
It's his name, yeah.
Really? That was an octave joke, everyone.
That's very good.
Octave Durham, wasn't it? But his friends call him Oki.
Yeah. It says Octave
Octave.
Durham. It's like
You mean one of the two?
made up name.
One of the two?
One of the two.
Yeah.
Squeal.
He was the main guy.
He was the main guy, and it was his plan. And these guys, they were arrested and convicted long before they recovered the painting.
Right.
And he protested his innocence for ages and ages and ages. But then in 2017, they came out with a documentary about the thing, and they interviewed him, and he went, "I'll tell you what happened." He just told them everything. This is exactly everything that happened.
So, but that was after it was recovered.
Yes, sorry, the documentary was shortly.
So therefore, he could kind of say whatever he
he could
wants.
say whatever he
really.
wanted. Yeah.
Had he served time by then, or is he still serving?
Yeah,
time?
he was in prison at the time.
He's got quite a long record of
Oh,
theft
okay.
and robbery.
After-
So he's still inside, is he?
No, he served 25 months.
Oh, right, okay.
So it was stolen in 2002. In 2004, he was convicted, and he did 25
So-
months in prison. And he always said he was innocent until they brought out a documentary, and then he said, "I'll tell you everything."
Okay. Yeah.
That's how we know it was 3 minutes 40 seconds. That's how we know the police were there. He said, the police arrived and he drove past them in the getaway car.
Sure. Yeah.
And he took off his ski mask. But he said, and on your point, Roo, he said that he had no interest in art. He just knew he could nick something.
Now, let me explain. I make a good living by stealing and cheating and shoplifting, anything at all that brings in some money.
That's why we
And he'd heard of Van.
Worked out how to get in. I can get away.
Yeah.
Like I say, they didn't pick the paintings because of their great
Right.
value.
They
or
were
anything.
just
He picked them
near
'cause
and
they,
small.
They were small and they were by the window,
Right,
so you
right.
could get in and get out.
So how much do you think? Are we going to come to this?
Little
I was
did he
gonna-
know that was probably the only seascape that Van Gogh ever painted.
Meaning what? It was
Exactly.
very
It
expensive.
just means extremely
They're
rare. I mean,
early.
it's so rare. I mean, there aren't any others.
So they were expensive, basically.
They're not. No, they're not. They're not really valuable in that sense, but they're important in the history of Van Gogh's oeuvre, if you like. They're being the only seascape he ever painted, and the one of the church is important in his life because it was when he painted for his mother,
Yes.
and then his father died, so he painted in the mourners afterwards
Yeah.
because that's where the funeral was held.
His father was pastor at the church
Yeah.
that he painted.
Right, okay.
So he painted the picture of the church. And it's there's two seascapes that Van Gogh painted while he was in the Netherlands. So this is one of those only two.
Okay.
And these have obviously they've never been to market, so we don't know what they would sell for. But previous landscapes at auction have raised anything between $10 and $70 million.
Sure, yeah.
So it'd be worth a few bob.
Well, on the basis that they've had the oxygen of publicity.
Yeah,
That kind of helps.
the Mona
doesn't
Lisa
it?
effect.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The Mona Lisa effect, yes.
Yeah.
I was on that beach just a couple of months ago as well.
What
Actually, I
beach?
didn't really quite realise
The Mona Lisa
beach.
No. I just went on a day trip down to The Hague, which is where
Oh, that's where it was.
Van Gogh was living at the time,
Yes.
and Scheveningen and
Den
it's
Haag.
Just,
Hey, see? Two can play that
Dutch,
game.
isn't it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. We were talking Dutch. Yeah. The Hague. The Hague, if anyone
The Hague.
needs a translation. Is that it?
I don't speak freaky deaky Dutch. Okay, perv boy?
He left behind a black baseball cap, the only clue.
Right.
The only clue.
If I was forensics, I'd go, I don't know, what are we meant to do
well, there'd
with
be
this?
some hair in it.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, you can check the DNA database.
Were they prolific robbers?
He was, yeah.
He was, for
He
sure.
was a prolific thief.
I'm an exceptional thief.
They went, this man likes baseball.
Arrest everyone at a baseball game.
Arrest all Americans. Flew first class to Yankee Stadium and arrested everyone. New Amsterdam.
See? Clever. Ocky Durham took the frames and the plexiglass off the paintings, threw the paint chips into the toilet,
Oh my god.
and
So
dumped
bits
the
came
frame.
off.
The
Oh,
bits
this
that
is after he
chipped
dropped.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Because it was in a bag.
Yes.
So the chips were in the bag.
Yep.
And therefore evidence. So
Oh,
he threw the paint chips
Yeah.
into
Never
the
mind
toilet.
the actual paintings. The chips are far more important. I'll get caught if the chips are found, but not if the paintings are discovered.
Yeah, but he's going to sell the paintings.
Yeah.
They don't want bits of the painting lying around. And you go, oh, we found this tiny clue in your apartment, which is clearly painted by Van Gogh.
right.
Hasn't fallen off the wall. He dumped the frames in a canal.
Yep.
And now he's got two frameless paintings rolled up and ready to shift.
Sure, yeah.
Now he's got to try and sell them.
Yes. Which is quite difficult.
It's quite difficult because we know from talking about the Mona Lisa that the first thing you do is you put it on your kitchen table for 3 years and stare at it.
You just get up every morning and eat your porridge with it.
Yeah, but no, not Oki. Mm-hmm. So he and his accomplice, Henrik Beslin.
Yeah, Beslin or Beslin.
Hink Beslin. Sounds like it's backwards.
You crazy Dutch bastard.
Mm-hmm. So he and his accomplice, Hink Beslin, tried to shift it on the open market.
Yep.
They did at one point actually manage to negotiate the sale to one Cor van Hurt, who was a gangster who actually had already been convicted as a result of the 1983 kidnapping of Alfred Heineken of the beer.
Of the beer.
Beer guy.
Yep.
And Mr. Van Hurt, he said he would buy both paintings. And the day they were going to hand them over, swap canvas for cash, he was murdered.
Who was?
Van Hurt, the buyer.
The person who was
Van
going to
Hurt
buy.
was hurt fatally.
He was hurt.
Cut off my ear and call me Van Gogh.
So, you know, it's unconnected.
On another unrelated gangster man.
Venn diagram crime.
Yeah.
Wow. What are the chances?
Fairly high for a gangland.
Well, yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
If only they'd waited a day, they could have got the money and he would have been dead in possession of stolen paintings.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. A day later, he would have been. They would have been scot-free and money. Still. And the police would have found the body with some paintings in his pocket and gone,
and he'll never squeal.
He did it. And they would have blamed him.
Yeah.
And they were in his pocket, specifically in his pocket.
So I assume we had one rolled up down each trouser leg.
It would have been closed case, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, there wouldn't have been much point in pursuing it any further.
No. Wow.
Because really all the galleries is interested. I mean, the police might have been, but unlikely. But all that a gallery is interested in is the recovery of the work. That's it. Who did it is irrelevant to them.
So, hang on, I'm assuming that happened. It didn't happen. That's me just saying that.
Exactly like you said.
It's the bloke died and they've still got the paintings in their possession.
Exactly. Hello, my name's Mark Decano and I host the Comedy in a Nutshell podcast, in which I talk with those in and around the comedy circuit, and most especially the comedians, about what comedy means to them.
Simon Amstel plus Lena Dunham plus Mr. Blobby. I thought that would be a good combo.
Every gig you get is somebody else not getting a gig.
Sometimes I've had people pull out a notepad and I've been like, oh no, thank you.
You are a jester and you're here to bring light relief to people's lives.
Somebody at the end was like, oh my God, she's dirty. And I was like, thank you very much.
My boyfriend says he feels like he has to tread very carefully because he was like, I know that everything has the potential to become material.
I can now give to people and they definitely in that moment are having a good time.
So if you want to know more about what comedy means to the people at its heart, then hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Comedy in a Nutshell, wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to Fringe, baby!
So, they managed to find another buyer. See if you could tell where he came from. His name is Raffaele Imperiale.
I was going to say, is it Raffaele Imperiale?
No, it's Raffaele Imperiale. If you're going to be accent accurate.
Okay. Yeah. If I'm going to be all fun on you, then...
Yep.
So he was head of the Camorra crime family.
Right.
Mm.
Yes, the mafia.
I don't know if he was an aficionado, but he
liked his art.
He was fond of art, apparently. But he liked them specifically because they were, and I quote, a good bargain.
Ah, I remember you now. The so-called art dealer.
Yeah, they probably... So hang on, what was the price going to be that they were going to swap it with the murdered bloke?
Well, I don't know what the deal was, the price deal with the murdered bloke, but the price that Raffaele Imperiale paid was €350,000.
I mean, that's a good deal, isn't it?
So he says.
Yeah.
So he says in the declaration that he made, I can't remember when that was now, but he wrote it down, didn't he, in a declaration?
Yes.
Why would he lie?
Because he was going to be using them as collateral against crimes to get lighter sentences. So the higher the value that they are, the more that he can get leverage with them.
Okay, yeah.
Whereas the guys that sold them to him say that they got about 5,000.
Oh, right.
He says.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. See,
he says it's 350,000.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, one of
The
those
truth
two
sits somewhere between.
And also, as we know from previous art theft discussions, the criminals, regardless of whether they're recovered or not, they are expected to pay reparation. So if they value it lower, then they have to pay less. So the criminals say it's worth very little, and the guy who's bargaining their value says they're worth a lot more.
Right.
So who knows? Like you say, the truth is somewhere in the middle. We'll never know for sure. What we do know is that the two criminals, Beelin and Durham, blew all the money in 6 weeks. They spent the whole lot.
No more Velvet Elvises.
Yeah.
Elvi.
Yes. Ochi said that what he spent the money on was motorcycles, a Mercedes E320,
right,
some clothes, jewellery for his girlfriend, and a trip to New York.
What gets me is spending $3.95 for that miserable fan. It's absolutely useless.
That was it.
He
spent it all.
Yeah.
But then it's only $5,000.
Arguably. Well, in a Mercedes E320 is going to be...
Oh, yeah. So it was clearly more than that. Yeah, that in whatever it was, 2003, would have been $40,000 or something.
Yeah. So, the police were monitoring Ochi.
Before we set brain and sinew to this perplexing case, let's review all the facts.
His phone was tapped.
Already?
As part of the investigation, he'd come under suspicion. They were investigating the usual suspects, I guess.
And he was one of those.
Burglars with form. And so he was being wiretapped. And then he started spending all this money. And so they went, aye.
Yeah. He's got a new Merc.
He's got a new motor.
That's classic.
Yeah.
Classic stuff.
If you ever do a good job, just sit on it. Just do nothing for the next 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Don't do anything.
That's what you did, didn't you? With your... Have we... I don't think we've spoken about this. Do you remember when you got overpaid?
Yeah, I got overpaid.
I got overpaid. What were you? Were you meant to get £70?
Yeah, it was not even that. It was like 35 quid.
£35, and they paid him £7,000.
£7,000. I was like,
they doubled it and stuck a nought on.
I mean, how can they do that?
A few noughts on it.
And he fessed up immediately.
I went in the next day,
Yeah, fessed up.
That's not right. Even I know, with my limited maths, that that's not right.
And the woman or the man or whatever, not long later, left the company.
Yeah.
And hadn't done anything about it. So you probably told someone else as well, didn't you?
The manager knew as well.
And you couldn't have done any more.
I know,
other than go in with the cash.
Well,
and then
to be fair,
I moved it into a high interest account.
Yeah.
I just let it sit there.
I remember looking at books at school, working out when it became legally yours.
Yeah.
We were like in the library,
and it said like they've got like
it was a long
7 years to claim it back.
Well, at the time, it felt like a very
Is it 7 years they've got to claw back?
Yeah. But even then, you could say, "Well, I'll give you a penny a month for the next forever,
million years
till the day I."
But
die.
they never asked for it, so I was like, "Okay." So then I just used it, deposit, and bought my house with it. So thank you very much. And the company don't exist anymore, so it doesn't.
No wonder.
As a direct,
as a result of that.
So hang on. So I'm going back to my.
Yes.
You didn't make any.
I didn't make any.
Bought a golden.
I didn't buy a cigar at Indian.
You just played it.
I bought a rocket car and a gold house.
Yeah, you did what you should.
I just left it.
Stick it in.
I literally
played it cool.
I let it sit there for years and years.
I remember we were counting down to the day,
but it would legally be mine.
Yeah, and you might have bought a pint or something. But that was
probably
it wasn't like, hey, here's a mink coat.
Pull out the whole lot in 10s and 20s.
So the police continued to survey Ochi.
So they were surveilling Ochi, listening into his conversations and watching him spaff money up the wall.
Sure.
So they went to his apartment to have him help with their inquiries, and he escaped.
The truth is, I fled.
Out the window and up the wall, and away he went.
Right.
And they gave him a nickname. They called him
Octopus.
The Monkey.
Oh.
Okay. Yep.
Because he climbed up the
wall. What's that in Dutch?
Das
Monkey.
German.
Das Monkey.
De Arp.
Ah. What did you say? ARB?
AAP.
Oh, sorry.
Arp. Oh, like ape.
Ape.
Yeah, sorry.
But apes and monkeys are different.
Yeah.
Well, not in Dutch. Ochi de Arp.
Ochi Arp.
Yeah.
That was the stupidest nickname I've ever heard.
So Ochi fled to Spain,
Did he?
España. And Spanish police arrested him December 2003. They caught up with him.
Why would they arrest him? Were they told
Interpol.
Oh, yeah, Interpol.
Were they told to?
Yeah. He's wanted on suspicion. Then the forensic investigators in the Netherlands.
Oh, right, yep.
They were able to take his DNA and match it to the hat.
Were?
Yeah. So
Right,
that is when they confirmed, actually, this is his hat at the scene.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Very much so. Quite
Cool.
a good job all round.
Yeah. So that was in December 2003. So actually they caught someone quite quickly, really. So he went to prison 25 months, but also €350,000 in fines.
You must learn there are more things to life than breaking and entering.
€350,000. I mean, he hasn't got that.
You can say that again.
No, of course
Well,
not.
I don't know, but a couple of documentaries.
Yeah. Well, he claimed to be innocent, as I say, for ages.
Yep.
He at one point offered to help in the efforts to retrieve the paintings.
Yep.
I don't know anything about it, but I might try and help.
Look, I'm sincere, honestly. I'll give you a hand. I don't know where you could possibly start looking, but I'll help.
Yep.
But the museum said no, because his suggestion was, I'll help you buy them back. You give me some money, I'll get them for you. Right. Anyway, no, mate.
They'll cost you £351,000.
Yeah. He has repaid €60,000 up till 2017. So
Right, okay.
14 years he's paid €60,000.
Okay.
Because in the interim between offering to help find the paintings and his conviction, which is about 7 years, he also went back to prison for a bank robbery that he flunked.
Oh, right.
So it was in 2015 when he met the filmmaker who wanted to make the documentary that came out in 2016.
Yep.
At which point he still maintained his innocence until they started making the documentary. Part of the reason why he changed his story was that there was a big break in the case.
Yes. So was it recovered during the film? No, not necessarily as a result of the film?
Not as a result, but while
just so
in production.
that,
Yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah.
It's over there.
Yeah.
Well.
Found it.
What a serendipity doodah! Who'd have thunk it, huh?
I mean, that was brilliant for the documentary, basically, wasn't it?
Yeah. What happened was that in August 2016, Mr. Imperiale, he wrote to the Naples public prosecutor informing him that he had the paintings. He said he fessed up. And again, this is part of your thing about valuation of stuff and bargaining about his investigation. There was a raid on his mother's home, Imperiale's mother's home.
Right.
And they found the paintings hidden in a wall.
Blimey, Griff. So pretty well hidden.
Yeah. They were just a small part of this whole bigger grandiose investigation.
Yeah, right.
So the Italian people investigating Imperiale, obviously the head of the crime family, they found the paintings as part of massive seizure. They seized land and buildings.
Right. Okay, loads of other stuff.
Just started ripping into everything.
Well, so to find paintings that have been walled up, it's a thorough search.
That is a serious search.
Because you can't scan for a bit of fabric behind the wall.
Get the painting scanner out.
You just got to go straight in with the angle grinder. You know,
there it is.
There's no tricorders for paintings.
No
tricorders. So they've basically seized €20 million in assets, buildings, property, and everything. And then going through, they were looking for stashes of money, and they found the paintings.
Yo! Stop your grinning and drop your linen. Found them.
Becker, the curator at the Von Hoek Museum, got a phone call saying, "Come down to Naples."
Yeah.
Away she went, jumped on a plane, and there they were. Identified them. They said yes. So the paintings were recovered. So this was in 14 years after the theft. They were finally found in a war.
Considering they'd been in a war.
No, they were in excellent condition, and apart from the chip that we mentioned that,
That was lucky.
That was flushed down the toilet.
Yeah. Surrounded by mafioso and police. It's like bizarre.
That's lucky, though, isn't it? That it was in good condition.
Yeah, for sure.
Considering it's been in a war for, 14 years, and it was 100 years plus of homemade crap paints anyway, wasn't it? Would it have been that
they will have been homemade. I mean, he will have had, because I think it was about 1850, 1852, somewhere around then. So paint tubes were invented.
Yes.
So before that, you couldn't really go out painting.
No.
So this was painted in
1882.
1882. And so you would have been able to paint
literally
little
you can
metal tins of little tubes of paint out with them.
Yeah.
I can still smell the fresh paint.
I forgot where we were going with that now.
Well, just the state of the painting.
Oh, yeah.
14 years in a wall and
Yeah.
arguably 130 years of crappy homemade paints.
No, they'd be good paints. They'd be,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
All right.
they'd be decent quality
paints.
paints.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though he was...
Yeah, there was quite a few
poverty-stricken.
colourmen around at the time, and there was plenty in Den Haag where you could have bought good quality paint.
You mean The Hague.
And just like with food, the best quality is the thing that's got the least ingredients in it.
Right.
So good quality paint is basically pigment and oil, and that's it.
Right. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Sure that's not a pigment of your imagination?
So, naturally, before they were returned to the museum, paintings were exhibited in Italy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were
Were they?
Yeah.
As is always the
in
case.
Italy.
It's always in Italy, isn't it?
It's always in.
It's always Italy. So they were the Museum of Capodimonte di Napoli.
In Naples.
In
Wow.
Naples. So 3 weeks
See,
they
that
were
would have
exhibited.
upped their value again, wouldn't it?
And then they went, loads of people go, paintings that we've never heard of.
Yeah.
Let's
They'd
go
rush
and
to
see
go,
it.
"Look, there's a stolen painting.
So, was that well attended?
I don't have any information on that, but I would assume so.
Right.
Otherwise,
okay.
it wouldn't have been 3 weeks. It would have been 3 minutes.
Yes, that's
Then
true.
we'd say, "So, no one's turned up day one. Take them down.
Yeah, sure.
Burn them."
No one's here.
Wall them up.
All of us. I say.
And then they were fully returned.
They were fully returned back to the Von Hook Museum.
So hang on, last week you went there.
Yeah, they're in
last
there,
week.
yeah.
There they are.
Yeah.
Right. Can
Well,
you see the
definitely
bit?
Did you look for the chips?
Well, no, I think that was repaired. The Schwenigen one I didn't see last week, but I did see the.
Hang on, was
the
there a
judge.
space on the wall?
No, that drives me nuts. I'm in the Reich Museum like every third week,
Every day.
pretty much, and
Right,
I'll
is it
spend
different every third?
Yeah.
Okay.
It drives me nuts because I go to the same room every time I go, and I'll
Sure.
spend 2 hours in one room. Because I
Doing
just
what?
because I like the
Do you
paintings
work
in
there?
there. That's my
Lazy.
I'm a janitor.
I mean, to me, all the best paintings are in room 118.
Are you
in the
saying
Reich.
that they move them around?
Yeah.
Ah.
Not out of the room. Well, it's yes, out of the room, but not into other rooms in the museum. There's some
You swap
fantastic
them around.
paintings by Theresa van Schwartz, who's a Dutch portrait artist, and they'll take her paintings out. Like one of the best ones, which is a portrait of
Just into
a woman with a
storage
dog,
or whatever.
and it'll just go on tour.
Oh,
At
sorry,
another
right,
exhibition
okay.
in another country somewhere.
And you're like,
So every time I go
Stop
in,
moving it.
I have to kind of quick look round and go, "Where's that gone? Where's that gone?"
I know how you feel, because when I go to the supermarket,
I was
they've
gonna
moved,
say, that's exactly
they've
what I was
moved all
gonna
the
say.
cheese.
Where's the Jaffa cakes? They were in.
They were here before. They went out now. I don't know where they
It's
are.
exactly like that.
But I won't ask anyone. I have to look round and round for 20 minutes.
No, obviously don't ask anyone. On the basis that you've seen it in whatever one you were going on about, a dog and a woman. You've seen it already? So therefore, are you not satisfied?
No,
you're not.
No.
Okay.
No, I can. I mean, I am the annoying guy in the gallery who stands in front of the painting for 15, 20 minutes,
staring.
Yeah, and then just changes weight to the other leg and stays there longer.
Sitting in a room, staring at a wall, not seeing the wall.
Do you then go to a security person and say, is the dog woman one coming back? Or
Yeah,
you do?
I do. Yeah, in fact,
Do you complain?
The guy that I was talking to,
Do you write a
he
letter of
he was
complaint?
telling me what exhibition it was on. He was mentioning a few other paintings that have also gone with it.
That it was on a tour
It's on
around
loan.
the country.
Yeah, it's on loan to another.
So you went
gallery.
there and found out it was in London.
Yeah, I've done that before. I went up to the National once. I think it was a couple of years ago, to see an exhibition by Bonnard, and I got there and it was closed. Oh, damn it! And then I went to Vienna the next week, and the Bonnard exhibition was there in Vienna.
Oh, no. That's why it was closed. Yeah.
It went ahead
It's
of
like
you.
all the same paintings. It's brilliant.
So, Mr. Imperiale,
Oh yeah. Roger Imperial.
Roger Imperial, he had fled to Dubai to avoid prosecution, and the reason he wrote a letter was to try and mitigate his charges.
He was trying to be.
Yeah.
Well, it's the classic I'll tell you exactly what happened, and I won't have any charges whatsoever.
Yeah, you let me off.
Yeah.
How about it? You boys empowered to make a deal?
I am.
Yes,
I
am too.
How does confession work like that? How, if I confess, you let me off?
Well, because it saves taxpayers money on trials.
But they can do. You can do anything and confess.
It doesn't it don't get you off, but it gets you
If I
lenient.
tell you where the body is, will you let me off?
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah,
it's like
it's not-
really bizarre, isn't
No,
it?
again, it's not a murder trial.
Confessions of a window cleaner.
Cultural murder.
Cultural murder. Anyway, the plan didn't work. He got sentenced in absentia to 20 years in prison.
Okay. But painting-wise,
Because he was arrested in Dubai in 2021. That's when he turned Pentito.
Excuse me?
State witness.
Oh, because he was the head of the family.
Yeah, there's a lovely video of the armed forces coming into his apartment. He's like sat there in like a t-shirt and shorts, going, what the...
So he was arrested in United Arab Emirates, UAE, August 2021. And the Justice Minister of Italy went in personally to ask for his extradition.
Mm-hmm. Did it have any sway?
Yes, he was extradited 6 months later, so last year.
Wow.
So do you think he's starting to serve those 20 years now?
Well, I think there must be a larger deal because obviously he's, like you said, he's turned...
He's Pentito, so...
He's Pentitoed.
He's probably under...
He's blabbing.
Yeah,
flipped.
so he'll be under protection, I would assume.
Yeah. And because he's supposedly the head of the family, he's got all the organisation, all the people within it, he can finger them all, so to speak.
Okay. Well, that's probably the last we'll ever hear of him, basically, because he'll be witness protection-y, won't he?
Mm.
Well, one presumes. Yeah.
There'll be collars felt across Central Europe.
By the time he comes out, he'll be called Raphael Metric System.
Well, after all, well, it gets funny.
So the documentary that we mentioned, the museum got the with that. They were took umbrage because the argument from them was that the museum was the victim and they don't like the fact that this guy, the notorious criminal, was getting like airtime.
Sure,
Right.
yeah. I can understand that.
The FBI called the theft one of its top 10 art crimes. And on the day that the paintings were returned, the museum curator said, "The collection is once again complete and we can close the door on a particularly painful period in our history."
Right. I wonder if the FBI think it's in the top 10.
Not 10 most wanted.
Because it's only
top
like
10
two
art.
small paintings.
It's not a very good top 10, is it? It's the kind of
Somewhat lesser chart.
America's top 10 art. Really?
Yeah.
Great.
Interestingly, not the only von Hooks to be stolen.
Well, hang on. Do you not? You're not going to ruin a future episode, are you?
No.
Teasing.
Because we might do it.
Well, no, we won't.
Okay. We won't do it.
We won't do it.
Viewers.
There are 28 von Hooks that have been stolen from the Netherlands.
That's 28 potential episodes.
Well, the two we've just been talking about.
26%.
As recently as 2021.
Right.
They're still being hoofed.
Gosh.
Von hooked.
Yep. Where from? Because I think the Van Gogh has most of them.
The most
You'd think.
The most recent was from the Singer Museum in Laren.
Because one of the big problems is when they get lent to another museum that doesn't quite have the security that it ought to.
Yeah.
It was stolen, as I say, 21 during the pandemic.
Yes.
And
quite a good time to
Interpol made a statement that said it's just more proof that criminals don't take breaks and will use any situation to their advantage.
I mean, obviously.
Thanks, mate. Yep.
Just more proof.
Yeah, on one Monday morning, one fateful Monday morning, criminals broke in and stole the parsonage garden at Neunen in Spring from 1884.
Yeah.
The good news is that all the 28 paintings that have been stolen have all been recovered.
Oh, very good. I am pleased.
There's a Japanese researcher called Kazunori Asada who's researching. I think he was at a lecture about colourblindness, and the guy sort of mentioned Van Gogh as like exhibiting potential for having colourblindness. So he went and did some research on the paintings and kind of concluded, yeah, that looks really quite right. And he wrote some software that allows you to look with the eyes of various colourblind, because there's various types of colour blindness. I think there's 4 main types, and they can be at different extremes.
Yeah.
The one that Van Gogh is supposed to have had is protanopia at about 50 to 60% of what would be a full protanopic vision.
So how come sunflowers look like sunflowers?
Well,
and skies look
his
like
paintings
skies?
through an adjusted spectrum look far more realistic and less cartoony and exaggerated. It's really interesting. I've got a big fat table book of paintings. And if I look at the paintings through a protanopic camera, they look much better.
Do they really?
Yeah.
You should paint them wearing them.
Yeah, paint them with photanopic
Then
glasses.
your stuff will be way better than it.
God, you know what you do? You look at the world through photanopic glasses, you do.
Yeah.
Here's one. You know synesthesia?
Yeah.
Which is like when you hear music and you see colours.
All right, I haven't got that.
What if you're colourblind?
Exactly,
Do you just see grey?
No, everything's out of
everything's
tune.
cloudy.
Yeah, you see everything out of tune.
You sit down, the orchestra starts up, and you go, "All right, fog rolling in."
Exactly, yeah.
And you said dogs, colourblindness for dogs. People say they see in black and white, but apparently they see in blue and yellow.
Really?
But that's green.
That's true. Yeah.
So
And
I don't know.
how do they know?
And is it like one eye sees yellow and one eye sees blue, and where their nose is, they see green, like a Venn diagram? I don't know. How does that work?
Yes.
Answer me, Ru. How does that work? Explain colours. You're the artist.
Oh, let's not get into rods and cones discussions.
Right, I'm buying a Viennetta.
Right. That's all for this time. If you want to know more about what we've talked about on this episode, then just Google it or something. You can listen to all of our previous episodes on our website. That's www.truecrimediary.co.uk. Please remember to leave a review on your podcast provider if you can, or you can email us. That's stuff@truecrimediary.co.uk. My thanks to Jed and Rue and to all of you for listening, and we'll see you again on next date in our True Crime Diary.